Nutrition and feeding. It is agreed that animal husbandry plays a very important role in the development and preservation of all domestic animals, and proper care improves the animal's health and ability to convert feed into meat, milk, or fiber for people to eat, drink, or wear. It can't be said too often then how critical to goat husbandry is how you feed your animals. So always ensure your goats have fresh, clean water available. While feeding good quality forage is usually sufficient to sustain your goats, they need energy, which they get from eating a proper balance of roughage and grain, as well as protein, vitamins, minerals. Goats can be kept in extensive, semi-intensive or intensive production systems, depending on the availability of land and other resources. Extensive production system. Under this system, goats are allowed to browse freely. This system is suited for areas where browsing or grazing fields are in abundance. To be effective, the herd should have a stockman, and the males should be separated from the does to control random mating. Kids should also be separated from the does to avoid suckling while in the field. The goats may be supplemented with concentrate feeds and mineral salts. Semi-intensive system. This is a mixed farming system, but the emphasis is on livestock production, 40% cropping and 60% livestock, and relies on communal land for grazing, supplemented with crop residues, grazed on farmland after harvest. Animals are typically grazed in well-organized pastures, mostly in a rotational basis, and are housed at nights and during bad weather. Production levels are higher than in pastoral systems because the goats have a mixed diet. Intensive or zero grazing system. In this system, a moderate number of goats are kept, 5 to 50. Goats are permanently housed, and fodder could be grown on farm or collected from communal areas. While this is the area of choice for dairy goats, it is widely used for meat goats in Jamaica. Land area for this system can be as low as less than ½ acre per household. This system is prominent in the proximity of towns and cities. Goats are ruminants. They possess the ability to efficiently utilize high levels of fiber in their diets. What makes this possible? Their digestive systems are modified in such a way that they are able to digest cellulose, which is a major component of plant fiber and is the building block of plant cells. High fiber materials are generally much cheaper than commercially produced feeds. In order to reduce the cost of feed, it's imperative that the ability of the animals to utilize high fiber be exploited to its fullest extent. How? The most cost-effective and efficient way to exploit this ability is through the use of forages and pasture. A forage is the edible parts of plants other than separated grain that can provide feeds for grazing animals or that can be harvested for feeding. While pasture is a type of grazing management unit that is enclosed and separated from other areas by a fence or a barrier. The types of forage include grasses, legumes, non-leguminous shrubs, and trees. Goats can be selective eaters and may not immediately accept new feeds. Any feed changes should be made gradually. Adult meat goats may be fed a minimum of 3% of their body weight in supplemental grain. Feed is the single largest operating cost associated with goat production, accounting for approximately 50% of the operating cost of semi-intensive goat production. The essence of good feeding is to be able to provide the nutrients required for their maintenance, reproduction, milk production, and growth.